Evening, folks, and welcome to the third episode of the Spacing Out podcast. So, I want to make this one kind of quick. I'm actually in the middle of doing a lot of research, and but I did want to make a quick podcast about AMC and GME. And I guess before I do, I might as well touch on the market a little bit. We're seeing a really bullish inflow. We've been seeing a lot of volume, mostly centered around Netflix and Tesla, which is interesting. More shortage fears, global recession around the corner, potentially. Where's money going? To growth, because it actually wants real returns. Where's money not going? Energy and actual production. And now they're suffering from a lack of money. And the real concerning thing that actually is kind of bugging me, because I also fell into this, is market really took off a lot of its hedges. And that kind of snuck up on me. I mean, a little bit. I noticed that the shorts, it seemed like they were exiting. And I've been preaching on Twitter that as soon as they started saying that the bull market was over, I was like, oh, that's usually a bottom signal. When it hits the main headlines. Yeah, when everyone knows, it stops being a thing. But also know that when everyone's hedged, the market doesn't usually crash. And right now, everyone took their hedges off, or is taking their hedges off. So now our risk is through the roof. It's a little dramatic, but also understand people took all their risk off, and there's almost $1 trillion of margin in the market. You know what a margin is? Margin is when you trade with money isn't yours. That's the highest all year. That's the highest that it ever was last year. And I mean, it's a lot of money. That ain't anyone's. I don't know what just happened to me, but AMC and GME. First of all, those AMC commercials, I can't tell if I love it or if I hate it, or if I love to hate it, or if I hate to love it. I have so many mixed emotions. I think AMC is more tolerable than the GME. GME is a weird one. GME actually had people. There's management that left Amazon to go to GME. I've never seen something that's so greedy in my life. And maybe that's presumptuous, but every part of me was like, they're only going there just for a quick money grab. There's nothing productive to be done with that company. There's no turnaround there. And I know people are upset to hear that. But let's break this down. Because, oh man, how do I navigate this without sounding preachy? I don't know. I might just have to go in. Let me think about it this way. People don't feel like their vote matters. They're wondering, well, first of all, they're wondering if the system's rigged. There's some conversation around that, I guess. But separate from that, people just generally feel the sentiment that it doesn't matter what I do, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And this movement to buy GME and AMC seems to be centered around the fact of like sticking it to the man, Citadel, screw them. We're going to stick it to them. We're going to buy this stock. And, buying a share of a company is like making a vote. But it's more than that, because that has direct impact to that company. You're help funding that company. You're providing more money to that company. You're boosting their market cap. Earlier this year, actually it might have occurred late last year, earlier this year, Elon Musk became the richest man in the world at a point in time when his company wasn't even profitable. And that's because we collectively decided to vote for him. This man wants to change the world. We believe in it. We believe in him and his ability to do it. And we all voted for the stock and bought the stock. He got a ton of money to the point he became the richest man in the world at a company that wasn't even profitable. Think about how ridiculous that is. And he made it happen. Tesla became profitable. This was last year, actually, by the way, because now the timeline's making sense to me, because that's before the S&P inclusion when they got added, and because they became profitable. 2 quarters, boom, did it. And, he got rewarded for that, and then all the hard work he put in. That is an example of how free markets work. They work. What you buy matters. If you dump money in dead companies, you hurt good companies. A lot of these shortages are because there's so much inefficient money in the market. You're having real effects on the economy. We're 34. If you're a retail trader, you're 34% of the market right now. It's super high. You could do a lot of good. Like a whole lot of good. Like, there's so many people who wish things were better and wish what they did mattered, and they're holding on to things like AMC and GME as they complain. Understand how childish that is. You can learn how things work. You can buy a company that matters, and you can make a real difference. Let's say, for instance, you bought all the wheat stocks instead. Yeah, they're also a little meme, but boom, those companies get a bunch more money. They can hire more people to harass the constituents in the government to put those bills in. Which, by the way, I think it's actually a great time to look into weed, as the government kind of is trying to figure out how to pay for all the stimulus packages that they've put out. I think it's a great time to maybe go hunting for a little bit of those companies on lows, especially since the market's consolidated. I'm spacing out again, but think about this. I think Tilray and CGC pretty much big dogs in the space, and they've been buying up all the little guys. Remember, these companies compete against the black market, so you're going to want products that usually aren't found on the black market. So things that aren't like the actual plant. And then remember that a boost to that market, the cannabis market, will also probably be a boost to the psychedelics market. And if you hop into that market, you probably want to get on the regulated side and not the unregulated side, right? Because it's already pretty controversial. So get on the side that has, like Johnson did studies on. And probably should mention them. I'm a huge MindMed bag holder. Like, have t-shirts and stuff. And I even want to call it a bag holder. That's one of my stocks. It's a penny stock. I hate penny stocks. I don't like trading penny stocks. I will hold that stock. Yeah, I'll just hold that stock because I want that company to succeed. Rehabilitation for addictions has a 30% success rate, but a psychedelic assisted rehabilitation has almost an 80% success rate. And I'd rather put my money there because I see all the terrible things that happens to people who get addicted to the antidepressants and the SRIs. You can develop awful diseases like akathisia, which is a condition that has one of the highest suicide rates. It is that awful. That is something you develop coming off of an antidepressant. Think about how ridiculous that is. You want to know how many conditions develop after someone comes out of a psychedelic assisted therapy? A full year after a one-time experience? 0. How many people said it was one of the top 5 experiences of their life? That level of impact from patients who were terminally ill? Just let that one sit. Or you could buy a failing video game retailer and help exactly no one do anything. Just something to think about. Have a great night. See you on the next episode. Bye.